paths to purpose and peace. Today, I'm thrilled to be joined by Neena Perez, a powerhouse transformational coach, author, and speaker, from overcoming hardship to guiding women toward faith fueled entrepreneurship. Neena's mission is all about realigning with your God given purpose and quieting the inner noise. Get ready for a soul nourishing deep dive into healing, growth, and building impactful businesses that honor your values. So let's glow from the inside out. Welcome to the show, Neena. It's an honor to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. I love that we are going from the inside out. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, Neena, your story is powerful. Overcoming abuse, teen pregnancy, and poverty to become a transformational leader. What was the pivotal moment that sparked your inner healing journey?
That's a good question. I have so many of those moments, but I think it was, many years ago, I started to get into leadership, and I am a faith driven entrepreneur. So I'm a Christian, and I got many years ago into helping women find their true purpose and calling, maybe like in 2002 or something. And, because of all of the hurt and the pain and the aches that I went through in my life, I realize that there is so many people out here who are going through so many hard things. And so in 2018, when I wrote my book, so many people were coming up to me telling me that it was changing their life, and they were exposing stories to me that they've never exposed before of abuse in their life. And I realized that my story doesn't belong to me anymore. It now belongs to others. And so I started the healing journey even more. I got into neurolinguistic programming and positive intelligence and life coaching and all of that. So that's really what did it. It was, finally breaking free from all the chains of shame and unforgiveness and, negative self talk and all those things, and realizing the freedom that it can help with other people. So I think, as we all grow, we have to start making decisions on whether or not we're going to continue to be the person that we were yesterday or move forward to somebody new today. So that's what started it.
That's amazing. And how did that moment shape your approach to coaching others who are still in the thick of their struggles?
Yeah, my approach to coaching is, well, fairly simple. I think we're all created to be what we're supposed to be in this world. I really believe that. And I believe that our mindset is basically like our thermostat in life, and so it really determines and detects how far we're going to go. And what we believe about ourselves determines how far we're going to go and what we're going to allow ourselves to also receive. So I teach transformation beginning with their identity, renewing their mind daily, aligning their purpose with God. What is that purpose? I have a free quiz that people take so that they can get a head start. And it's really about taking care of all of that fear, the shame, the doubt, all of that stuff that starts to distort our mind. And so when the women come into my program, we work on those things as we're working on what it is they're trying to create in the world. I've had a few businesses in my life. I've, created a lot of success, thank goodness. And so we do start with inner healing. We start talking about all of this self-sabotage stuff that goes on, but then we also help them actually build out their systems. I have a whole team that comes in that does all of their marketing, automation, framework. So it depends on what the women want. But really, it's about aligning yourself to what it is that God has created you to be so that you can start to really impact the world for real. And a lot of us just start to do what other people tell us to do. But I want people to do what they really want to do, and what they feel like they're led and created to do. So I have a woman in my program, for instance, who said she wanted to be a life coach. And as we started to dig in, it turns out she just wants to open up her own program where she does taxes and, bookkeeping. So now we've built a whole business around that. I have another woman who came in wanting to do one thing and now decided, you know what, she wants to be a writer. So we're building her business around that. I have another one who's a coach for you. So it depends. All of us are unique and different, right? I mean, you're doing podcasting right now Tomorrow you may decide, my calling is, I don't know, crocheting. I don't know, but I think that we should stop putting ourselves in boxes and just really figuring out what it is we want to do in life and interrupt the pattern that the world tried to give you and get into what it is you really want to do.
Mm-hmm. And I think so many listeners can relate to the feeling of being stuck. Your journey proves that breakthrough is possible even when it
Mm,
feels hopeless.
yes. Yes. I think the reason we feel stuck is because we overthink everything. All of us really have things that we love to do, a unique talent, things that we're passionate about that we just put to the side and be like, that's just something everybody does. But that's not true, right? I'm a chef by trade. I've been cooking for over 20 years and teaching people how to cook in culinary. I'm an instructor. And, when I teach a simple thing like, I don't know, oil smoke points, they're like, I didn't know that. And I'm like, wow, that's right. People don't know everything I know. And so I don't want people to keep thinking that their wisdom can't be used for wealth because it can. And we get stuck because we get in our own heads. All of us know things that other people don't know or are just learning. And if you know it well or it's something that you love and you're passionate about, just naturally talk about it. Don't overthink it. Too many people out there make everything sound very complicated, and that's on purpose because if they make it sound complicated, what's going to happen? You're going to want to hire them to teach you something that's super simple that you think is complicated. And so the stuckness is us in our own heads. I really highly recommend you go and grab someone who you trust, you like, maybe someone you've been following for a while that you trust their voice, you trust who they are. I honestly believe that we all need somebody, a coach, a mentor, somebody who's already done it so that you don't get stuck because stuckness is in the mind. If you just get out of your way and do one thing, just one, step out one thing, I don't care what it is. Even if you don't want to do it anyway, because that's another thing, right? We don't want to do it. So then we stay there. That's called procrastination. And that's built out of fear. So just take one step. Just take, I don't care what it is. Get up and, I don't know, stretch. And you said you were going to do exercises today, but you don't feel like it. Okay, maybe go for a walk. Maybe stretch. Maybe do something different. I don't care what it is. You can get unstuck if you stop it and be living in your routine. Stop living in the same routine every day. I promise you, eventually you're going to see you're not stuck anymore. So I think that's my honest answer. I just think we overthink things and we overcomplicate very simple matters.
Mm-hmm. I absolutely agree. And you emphasize faith as a foundation in both life and business. How do you balance spiritual alignment with the practical hustle of entrepreneurship?
That's such a fantastic question, right? Because most people who are in faith sometimes may feel guilty about a hustle or guilty about earning too much money, all those things. But I start my day, or I try to, because I'm not the best at it every day, but I try to start my days with morning meetings in my faith. So, God, I really believe is my CEO. And I really try to live and lead with God at the center of my decisions and my visions and my mission, right? So I really try to align purpose with what I feel God has designed me to do and start creating that. So, how do I balance that? I balance that by by being a very person who tries to keep their word, a person of integrity, a person who says what I mean and really have a heart to serve others. I don't do what I do for money. Money comes, but I do what I do because I love the person on the other side of the screen and I love the passion and mission that they want to create. So I think that's how you do it. If you're a person of integrity and you really try to um, live in as much truth as you can, and the reason I say that is because we all struggle. We all struggle with things. We all struggle with things maybe we don't want to do, but we feel like, if I don't do that, I'm going to lose this client, or if I don't do that. But you should never step outside of your boundaries, of your soul alignment, of where you want to be and go. I would never take on a client just for money. It's just not how I work. I know that some people do. If that's what they're good with, that's fine. But I want to make sure that the clients that I'm with actually produce what it is they say they want to produce. So I'm very, very strategic about who I take. The person has to be aligned with what I want, in my coaching program, because I have women who are spiritually in alignment. So it's important. I think that's how you do it. You hustle with purpose, and you hustle with truth. Don't deceive people, and be authentic. I think that's how I don't think I know that is how you can show up in the world in a way that you won't have any shame, and you can actually help people produce what it is they want to do. That's my goal. That's my answer to that.
Right. So, have you ever faced pushback for being so open about faith in the business world? And how do you navigate that?
I absolutely have. Unfortunately, right? Because I think we should all have our faith, and we should all live in whatever that truth is, and try to seek truth, right? I'm a Christian, so to me, that is truth, right? I've tried other things in my life, but this one felt like the truth to me. I've done research, and this has become my truth, and it's become the truth in my life. So, yes, and the truth is I don't care. That's really the answer. If you don't like my faith walk or who I am, I don't care. I used to care, but then I realized that my life was in shambles because I kept caring about what everybody else thought, and not what deep down inside I thought. And I've decided that I don't care. And the reason I say that is because the people who will like me. And the people who don't like me, well, then it doesn't matter, because they don't like me. And the truth is not everybody's going to like you, and that's okay. You don't need to be liked by everyone. You need to be liked by the right people. Right. So that's exactly how I handle it. If somebody says to me, well, we shouldn't, and I've had this happen to me. Well, we really shouldn't, talk about God. I don't want you. I said, well, I'm going to. And if you don't like that, then I think we're going to come to a crossroad, and we have a problem. How do we deal with this? Right. And so that was a very uncomfortable situation, but I don't care. That's my answer. I think that all of us should live in our lives how we feel is best to serve the world, because I think we're here to serve others, not ourselves. I think that if we get great things in our life, amazing. I love that. But I also feel like that's not just for us. It's for the generations after us. It's for our neighbor. It's for the person we're trying to serve. I believe in service first. And so, that's my answer. I think that most of us keep trying to hide who we are. And when you do that, you are going to be miserable. So that's how I handle that. At first, it was very like, let me be quiet, not tell anybody I believe in Jesus Christ. I shouldn't be saying that. And then one day I said, wait a minute. In scripture, it says, at least in the, because I'm Christian, in the Bible, it says, if you are ashamed of me before man, then I will be ashamed of you before my Father. So, I don't know. I'm not going to risk that because somebody doesn't like me across the street. It's just not going to happen.
hmm That's a question a lot of purpose driven entrepreneurs wrestle with, staying true to their faith while playing in a competitive space.
Hmm. Yeah, you're right. I think it's because we are so caught up in the world. We're so caught up in what the world says. We're so trained at this point, right? Most of us are trained, at least here in the States. You're trained to be an employee. You're not trained to think for yourself. You're trained to make sure everybody does the same thing at the same time. The bell rings at school, it's the next class. You go to the same class all the time with the same thing. So we're trained that way. So when you start to become an outlier, somebody who thinks outside of the box, or somebody who thinks and stands in your truth and purpose, that is a problem for people, because you're disrupting the system, and you're disrupting what they told you to do, right? You become a divergent, and you become somebody who's like, oh, wait, here she is, the God girl or the Christian girl. And I've had that said about me before, and I don't care. And I think that every entrepreneur, if you start to live in what is true to you, what you know is true, the truth, and you start to really walk in that and say, you know what? I am a person of faith. I do believe in God. I am going to treat people with dignity and respect and honor. I am going to run my business this way. I honestly believe that if you honor that faith, you honor God, God will honor you. And if it's not hurting individuals and it's not like hurting, doing anything evil or illicit or mean or cruel, right? Why are you worrying about what the world says? If you are putting out something in the world that is going to help another individual thrive and be better in their life and actually pull them out of the muck and mire, what are you doing hiding that? We need that in this world. This world is cruel. It is mean. There's a lot of bad things here, but there's also beauty. So we should be highlighting those things, right? You're a podcaster and you are a podcaster that has a podcast called Inner Light, for goodness sakes, right? So you're talking about things that people are intrinsic with, like something deep within them. So I want people to build their businesses built on what they feel God has created them to do and put that out in the world. Because if that's the true mission, then you're not going to be hurting people. You're not going to be cruel. You're not going to be mean. You're not going to be judgmental. You're going to be putting things out in the world that is going to help another individual rise and thrive. So stand in that.
Definitely. So, your wisdom to wealth framework beautifully merges inner healing with business growth. Why is healing the first step before strategy?
Oh, well, if you're not healed, you're not thinking straight, right? And what I mean by that is you are behind a glass, a mirror, whatever, and not looking in the mirror. So what happens is that you are not seeing what the world is seeing. The world sees you in such a different way, especially when you are a person who does love to serve and does love to put things out in the world. Like the women that come to me are all professionals. They're all women who have already made a name for themselves in the professional world. And while they're, out there and they're working for someone, they feel great and all of those things, but they're still struggling inside. Am I good enough? What's my belief system? They have toxic shame from things that have happened to them. So they make decisions based on those things and not who they truly are. And so when we talk about inner healing, I talk about toxic shame and behaviors that you've learned, shut up until you're spoken to and, nobody asked you and all of those things, or stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about. Like we don't think about those things, but the truth is those things hurt you. You don't realize what your emotions are. You don't know how to regulate them. You start to walk around in shame, but you don't know why. An opportunity comes up, you don't snatch it because you're like, I don't know if I'm good enough, if I'm able, if I'm capable, right? And those things come from deep rooted inner healing things that have to happen, reconnecting with who you are, connecting with yourself, knowing what your core values are. So in my academy, which the women have full access to, when they come on, they can go and they can do all of the modules, and all the modules help them with toxic shame, belief systems, self-talk, emotions, how they, really feel about themselves truly. We talk about reframing, reconnecting. I mean, it's a lot in there because there's a lot of lessons, but they can take their time with that stuff. And we have um, weekly meetings or bi-weekly meetings where we talk about whatever they want to talk about and discuss and break down. Then we have meetings where we talk about one-on-one about how they want to build their businesses, all that great stuff. So there's a lot that goes into the wisdom to wealth and purpose driven framework, which is what I do with them. But that's where it begins, because it begins with you. You're created for a purpose and a plan, and the world snatches it or quiets it or tells you you're not good enough. And that's bullcrap. The truth is you're created for better and more. And that's why some people really make it and some people don't. Because some people either ignore their inner healing altogether and just keep trying to drive it in the world, and other people have dealt with it and realized that all of that was a lie and you were created for more than that. I really believe that. I really believe that we're created for something. I don't care if it's just, I'm created to raise my children. Amazing. Then raise the best humans you can create or raise in the planet, right? Like we all have a purpose, right? All of us have, you know, people we like, people we don't like. We all have presidents we like, presidents we don't like, but all of them were created. And so somebody raised them, right? So I think that all of us need to stop thinking that we all need to be millionaires and billionaires, like everybody says on YouTube, and just start realizing that you may have a niche purpose that you should be tackling and you're just not looking at it. So inner healing begins with you. And if you can get that, you're gonna be able to thrive in anything and everything that you do. It has to start there.
Absolutely. So, can you share a transformative client story where healing unlocked unexpected success?
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh, let me pick one because I have a few. So one of them I remember, she was with me, she came to me because she thought that what she needed was just a coach to kinda help her get things in order. In other words, her house, she said her office was a mess. It was cluttered. She had, she couldn't think straight, all those things. And I'm like, that's what you really want? And she was, yeah. I'm like, okay, I help people build businesses, but we can start there. And so we did. We started there, right? Just some simple life coaching. And we started to dig a little deeper. Why is her office chaos? We started to dig deep. There was some toxic shame there, right? She was a survivor of domestic violence, a survivor of sexual abuse. Like she was a survivor of many things. We started to break down all of those things, reframe those things, use all of those things as superpowers. So as we started to do that and work together, she wouldn't leave me. So she kept re-signing up. And I'm like, okay, but we've dealt, yeah, yeah. Oh my God, but Nina, I've gotten so much. And so it's been an absolutely amazing thing to watch this woman go from I don't know what I am or who I am to building a multi six figure business. And now she has like she has this business where she grows, and that's the I was mentioning much earlier in the interview where she has started her own bookkeeping, tax business, all this stuff. She's found her thing and she is thriving. So now every time I see her, she's traveling. She's in Dubai, she's in, France, she's in, wherever. So that is one story that I love. And there's been a couple of women who have worked with me who have started amazing businesses. But I'm so proud of her, so proud because she came and she thought she needed just somebody to help her with a messy room. And what the mess was representing was what the mess was going on inside. She's done so much work on her inner healing and her transcending and setting goals, identifying gaps, knowing who she is, all of that stuff, that now she's thriving in a beautiful business and traveling everywhere she wants to. So that's one of my clients.
Mhm. I love that you're addressing the inside job first. It's a piece of often overlooked in today's result driven world.
Hmm. Hmm. You're right. You know why? Because I think people know systems and they know that they can get you results with a system. So they'll say to you, okay, we're going to build out your go high level or something, right? We're do all your marketing and automation and you're going to get, a closer and a setter and you're going to get all these things in your business. Yay, you're going to get that done. But what misses if you don't do any inner work, the problem is what happens when you hit a part of your business where now your business slowed down or you're not getting clients booking or you feel like you're not helping your client. What's going to happen there? Now, if you don't have that inner work done or somebody helping you with that inner work, you're going to have a stall, like we talked about earlier, that stuck place, that place where you feel like, oh, shoot, I can't move forward. I don't know what to do. I'm confused. I'm stuck. That's going to happen. And it's going to happen to everyone. But if you do some inner work, you'll know to take a step back, to breathe a minute, to know that maybe this is in your head and not a reality, that you are maybe giving yourself that old belief system, that you're talking to yourself in a bad way. You're not reframing. What is the truth? What is love here? What's your core values? Do you have boundaries? See, that comes all into place because as we all build our businesses, our podcasts, whatever, you are going to hit a wall. We all do. I have a six-figure business, but I was talking to somebody on my podcast who is a seven going on eight-figure business. And she still struggles with some things inside. And she goes, Nina, if I didn't take the time those years to do the work, I would probably go right back to having nothing because I hit walls all the time, even making $100,000 a month. Right. So I say that to say, be encouraged. Don't think that you're stuck and you can't move forward. You can. Just take a step, one step at a time, and start doing the work. I know it hurts. I know it's uncomfortable. I know you don't want to do it because I know I don't want to do it, but it is necessary. And if you get the right tools, you'll be able to overcome all the hurdles that are going to come in life because they will. I know people tell you it's going to be easy and they're going to set up your system and you're going to have 50 clients a month. And that is not true. The truth is, it's going to take you to show up in the world. And the way you show up in the world is by knowing who you are and stepping truly into your inner healing and transcending work so that you can start creating what it is you want to create in the world. I truly believe that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, you talk about transcending unwanted behaviors. What's one common self sabotaging habit you see, especially among women entrepreneurs, and how do you coach them through it?
Oh, that's such a great question. I think it's the most self-sabotaging thing I see is they don't think they know enough. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know enough. I'm like, wait a minute. You've been doing this for somebody who who hired you. They're your first client, right? So they hired you. Make them your client, not your employee. What I mean by that is they're paying you 50,000 a year, 40,000 a year, whatever. They see value in you because a lot of people think that their skill sets are not important, but somebody saw value in you to pay you for it. And people are like, "Oh, I didn't see it like that." I'm like, "Yes, they're paying you to use that skill that you think is not good enough. And they're paying you $40,000 a year to do that. So if they're paying you 40,000, you convince them to pay you, why can't you convince another client to pay you something like 2,000 a month or 1,500 or 500, whatever your program is. So that's where the shift comes in. It's a reframing. See, your job is not a burden. Your job is an interest-free loan. You get to use that job and that money that somebody's paying you for, and you get to use that money now to build what it is you want to build. Instead of looking at your job like a burden, your job is not a burden. Your job is that loan that you're taking out. Every time you get paid, you take a piece out of that, you pay for your business, and therefore you don't even have to pay that money back. That's your money. So if you can convince another human being to pay you for your skills, then why can't you do that for yourself and a client? That's called reframing. We have to look at things differently. And I think sometimes we all get caught up in the way we see things and we always need somebody to help us through. So that's one way we do it. We list down the pros and cons and then we really break down what it is that they're self-sabotaging about that is not serving them.
This really gets to the heart of sustainable change because it's not just about what we do, but why we keep repeating cycles.
Yes. And that's the thing, like, people think, "Oh, I can't," "Nina, you tell me to bring value out in the world, but if I do that, I'm like, "What, are you gonna run out of value?" And they're like, "Oh." I'm like, You're growing every day. You're not running out of value. Just keep giving value to people and just reframe the way you see things. Stop looking at everything towards that's called the scarcity mindset. When you think everybody's gonna steal what you have. That's scarcity. People who are wealthy don't think that way. They don't care if you take something they have because they know they're going to come up with something even better tomorrow. So understand that what you're putting in the world, people need to see that in order to value you, value what you have, your knowledge, your skill set, your wisdom. So stop worrying about it and start thinking about, well, for instance, I'm a chef by trade and I'm a coach and I've been paid for both. And I'm like, well, I can have a coaching and cooking program. Oh, actually, I just thought of that right now. Maybe that's what I'll do next. The truth is that we have skill sets and value that we bring in the world that somebody's willing and needs in their life. So don't overthink it. Just be you and do it.
That's amazing. And wow, Nina, thank you for sharing your incredible wisdom and faith fueled vision. And to our listeners, if today's chat sparks something in you, take a moment to reflect. Where might you need to pause, heal, and realign with your purpose? Be sure to check out Neena's book and give her Wisdom to Wealth program. So until next time, keep shining your inner light. You've got this.